Welcome to the Turtle Club. Hi, everybody.
It's the Turtle Club.
Welcome to the Turtle Club. This is the second episode of January. We got a new format. We're doing two different movies a month.
Yeah, so it's the second movie.
I am Eli. I picked the movies for this month.
Pick the movies for the month.
I picked The Wrestler, directed by Darren Aronofsky.
You sure as fuck did.
My favorite director.
Everyone else introduce themselves.
My name is Michael, and my favorite director is Darren Aronofsky.
With that tone of voice, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Introduce yourselves.
Alan, go.
You guys fucking dumb?
Sorry, it's me.
Yes.
My name is Alan,
We talked about
and I don't know which one I love more for Darren Aronofsky movies, Life of Pi or the sequel, The Whale.
Wait.
Did he do Life of Pi?
The sequel?
Who did Life of Pi?
Ang Lee.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah,
then The Whale.
Well, it's The Whale and White Chicks.
Yeah.
Oh, White Chicks is the sequel to The Whale.
Yeah. My name's Dave, and this movie hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here, I picked the movie. Let me do my little intro.
Okay.
No,
This
is it wrong that...
Go.
Is it wrong that I didn't have a hard time with this movie?
Hard time? I don't know if hard time is the right word. I didn't have a hard time with it.
It's just a bummer.
Yeah, it's
Wait,
just
we're talking about
bummer.
erections, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, in that case,
Oh, yeah.
Fucking,
That was hard the whole
I
time.
was pitching
So
tents
this
more
is
than a
quite the hard
more than a
time.
campground.
This is The Wrestler. The release date is either 2008 or 2009. They did a very limited release in 2008 to be eligible for Oscars, but it didn't actually release to the public till January 30th, 2009. So I have it as 2009. Directed by Darren Aronofsky, written by Robert Siegel, starring Mickey Rourke, Marissa Tomei, Evan Rachel Wood, and the Necro Butcher. Darren Aronofsky also directed Requiem for a Dream, Black Swan, and The Whale. Robert Siegel also wrote The Founder and Turbo.
Turbo?
The snail
the
movie.
snail movie? What the fuck?
Man, The Founder's a great movie.
No, I love The Founder. When I lived in New York, I used to go to these
Oh, Andy wrote Big Fan?
did he? I don't know that one.
It's like Patton Oswalt as a taxi driver.
Oh, well, good for Patton Oswalt. He's Remy the Rat.
He is.
When I lived in New York, I used to go to these pre-screenings for movies that weren't out yet. I was a test audience, and I saw The Founder before it was even finished. And there was certain scenes that didn't even have audio, and they just these big words on the screen would appear. There'd be the little subtitles underneath, and up top it just said placeholder audio in giant words, so I couldn't even see what was on the fucking screen. But I've since watched it normally, and that's a good movie. I like that.
Can I talk about Darren Aronofsky?
Yeah, do your thing.
I mean, you were going to, so yeah.
Here's the thing about Darren Aronofsky. That dude is the most overrated director of all time. He is so... his movies are always just, sad for the sake of being sad and very rarely have any deep or meaningful message behind them. And I think it's very shallow. And I especially mean that for Requiem for a Dream, because the whole point of that movie is drugs are bad. Look how bad they are, and it says nothing.
Fuck, it worked.
It's not unique. No, it didn't. It says nothing unique about it. It's so boring, and it's so fear-mongery in the worst way. But...
True.
Michael doesn't like when you bring up that drugs are bad.
Hold on. But...
a Sicilian.
The Wrestler is pretty good.
Do you like Black
Swan? I forgot he did Mother.
Mother is so overrated.
I like
Black
Mother.
Black Swan is okay. I think the wrestler's
right.
pretty good.
He did the movie Pie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I
But-
was thinking of. That's where I got Life of Pi from.
The wrestler, the thing that makes
Classic
it
mistake.
better is
Thanks,
that it
man.
actually has some sort of depth to it.
Some?
You know what I mean? Like it's about stuff that is like a very real problem and has some depth to it, with like aging and like, you know, not feeling like you're able to do anything anymore, but not being able to let that go. And so this is probably his best movie.
The character work in this is really well done.
Yes.
Yeah, holy goddamn.
Which his other movies I don't think have that as well. Everyone's very one-dimensional and boring in his other movies to me.
Well, you said you like Black Swan, right?
I think it's okay.
So those are the two of his movies he didn't write.
Oh, that's funny.
That
And
makes
The
a lot
Whale,
of sense.
but The Whale
Yeah.
sucked.
I didn't
Yeah,
see
The
it.
Whale wasn't great.
The Whale was like a cartoonishly bad movie.
The Whale is what I like. Is what like when I watched The Whale, I'm like, oh, this is what Michael sees when he sees every other Aronofsky
Yes.
movie.
The Whale just made me feel like I was watching a play put on by college freshmen at an art school.
That's what
Where
all
it
of
was
his
like-
movies feel like to me.
Yeah.
I've
I've actually only seen a couple.
I don't
I-
agree all the way, because I do like some of his movies. I don't like The Whale. I don't like Noah. I think Noah's bad.
What? Anyways, just stop. Don't bring up religion.
But I
Was
like
Noah
Requiem
religious?
for a Dream.
What's
Was
Noah
it?
about? I should read about Noah.
Yeah, you gotta. I mean, it's nothing like the book, dude.
Yeah.
It's
The book?
no,
What's the
you
book?
just watch the movie We Bought a Zoo.
Yeah,
Pretty much the same thing.
Yeah,
but
it's like a 1-to-1.
I
Um,
like Requiem for a Dream. I like Black Swan. I really like this movie. I think The Wrestler is fantastic. And
The only problem I have with The Wrestler is that it does get a little, like... And not in a horrible way, but it gets a little, like, what? Like, it's just sad. Like it almost gives you a little bit of hope, and then it's like, no, we're just going to be the most depressing thing ever. And it works better in this, but it also just feels kind of lazy. But-
Yeah, but I feel like he does it himself in a good way. Like,
Yes, yes.
Everything's justifiably bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I own this on Blu-ray already before I even like chose it.
God.
I watched it. The trailers on the Blu-ray, by the way, are X-Men Origins Wolverine,
Yeah.
Slumdog Millionaire, Notorious, and an ad for a Bruce Springsteen album because he did the original song at the end in the credits of this movie.
Fuck?
But this is like a bummer of a movie, obviously. So here, let's get into what it's even about. We haven't even
Yeah,
described
God
that
damn,
yet.
it's a real fucking bummer, dude.
So
really
it is
hurts.
about Randy the Ram, an still wrestler, but he used to be like pro, and it's a little bit unclear how big of a star he was.
It seems like he was big. Because he gets a lot of respect in the movie. Like,
I'm thinking
a lot.
he was like a high B tier star.
But I don't even know that because he sleeps with that one girl, and she's like, "Oh, my brother had your poster on his wall." Like,
He's in a video game.
right?
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
like he's got to be like up there.
But I did some research on this actually. So throughout the movie, he does a thing where he mentions a lot of venues that he main evented.
I got to take
Yeah.
a dump.
Okay.
Okay.
And
We don't need his ass.
every venue that he mentions, I looked up. I looked
Okay.
up the venues.
Yeah.
And right away, at the very beginning, the movie starts with like a quick montage of the of like a lot of like newspaper clippings and like advertisements for shows he's done.
Yeah.
One of them is the 1988 Saturday Night Main Event, which is a really big event. Like WWF, that was like the first time that wrestling was on network TV. It was on NBC, and it was a big
Oh.
deal. So
Damn.
that by itself is a big thing. Right away, the first, like, when he's like, right at the beginning of the movie, after he walks out, like, he's walking out of like some small event, was obviously was held at like a high school or something.
Yeah.
The guy, he's signing people's stuff, and a guy goes, "Dude, my first match I watched was you at the Spectrum in '85. I looked this up. The Spectrum Arena is in Philadelphia. It's got a maximum capacity of 18,000, depending on the
wow.
event. And
Whoa.
but also, it's a really interesting choice, like clever choice, because it was demolished in 2007, right
shit,
before
yeah.
this movie came out. I
Yeah.
think that's on purpose. I think right away they're letting you know, like, a lot of information there. Because, one, it is a big event. It is a big venue. He is old. He mentions that I saw you in '85. And also, it's a venue that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so like a lot of his past is just sort of crumbling away, which like fits heavily with the themes of the movie.
Like, I think right away, and like 18,000, like, for like a wrestling event, that's not like WrestleMania numbers or anything like that. WrestleMania usually is around like 60, 70,000, like, on average.
Yeah,
But-
but as like a first time event, that's huge.
Like 18,000, that's a pretty good amount. That's like what you would get at like a normal like Raw or SmackDown. Like, and those do
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Like, that's a pretty big event, especially for the '80s. That's a pretty big venue. So there's a few other ones that I'll mention throughout, just because like he does name drop a lot of venues. But
Yeah.
basically, I do think that he was like a really
Oh my
big
God.
star.
I still think he was like a high B plus tier.
I'm not
Like,
even sure. I think he may
if
have
not,
been
like,
like
A-.
I think he might have be like almost like a Hulk Hogan level.
Yeah,
Like,
I was literally
I
gonna
was
say.
gonna
I think
say.
Andre
Well-
the Giant, Hulk Hogan, like.
Well,
See,
think
I
the
would
big thing
kind of
is
see Andre the Giant.
pre-national expansion wrestling.
So
Yeah.
So it's like Ric Flair kind of level, like pre-national WWF.
But like Alan, I was mentioning this at the beginning when there's the montage of all the event, like the showing like the posters
Yeah.
and stuff. One of them is the 1988 Saturday Night Main Event. That's WWF. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
Like, he mentions like the venue that guy mentions right at the beginning. I was just telling them this is he says like, "Oh, I saw you in '85 at the Spectrum." Like that's 85. The Spectrum's the Philadelphia venue that like doesn't exist anymore. That's a capacity of 18,000 people. Like, that's a sizable crowd.
Yeah, I think he was
it's
like a
good
big
size.
the biggest you could get at that level
Like,
in that time of wrestling.
yeah, you're right. Maybe not Hulk Hogan, but I do think like Ric Flair.
Yeah,
That's a better
100%.
comparison. Like, because Hogan, like,
Hogan kind of like he mainstayed for a while.
he
and
expanded
really
outside
shined
of
through.
wrestling. People know who he is outside wrestling.
Yes.
Randy feels like a big deal in the world of wrestling, but obviously nowhere else. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't seem like he has super mainstream appeal, but people definitely knew him.
Well, and he, like, at the very end of the movie, he gets recognized at the butcher counter. So, like,
Yeah.
I think he was big. Like, big.
I agree. I think he was a big name in the 80s. Maybe not the guy, maybe not Hulk Hogan, but I think Alan's comparison of Ric Flair is really good.
Thank you.
Because Ric Flair was huge, but not like mainstream like Hulk Hogan. I think he's like a Ric Flair level like star. I love like the movie does a good job of like, without showing you a lot of that, like making you like totally understand that he has a history. Like, his finisher is called the Ram Jam. Like, that's a very
Yeah.
80s name.
Yeah.
And I love that his finisher is like a flying headbutt, which is funny because that's also kind of how Nacho Libre finishes at the end of his movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
The ending, the last scene of both of these movies, they're so similar. It's so perfect.
They mirror each other.
So perfect.
But he's obviously not doing well. Like, he, after the show, so
Oh
right
my
at the
God,
the
no.
first shot is him sitting in like an elementary school classroom, still in his like gear, and like the promoter like gives him some money. He's like, "Oh man, the gate wasn't as big as I wanted it to be. Sorry, man." Like, he obviously isn't making as much money as he would like to. He gets back to his trailer and he's locked out.
Yeah.
Yeah, they put like the bolt on his doors.
And he has to sleep in his van. The local kids are all very excited to wrestle with him.
Yep.
Like that's cute. Mickey Rourke does a really good job in this
He
movie.
kills it.
Like,
Another
God damn.
another like good piece of symbolism. You just made me think of that with the kids. Is like it's so stupid, but he is playing a video game with one of the kids.
Oh my god, I was gonna
And-
bring that up. Yeah.
And like the little kid is like, "Oh, this is so old. This sucks." And like,
Yeah,
that
he's
feels
like, yeah, I've been
so,
playing
like,
Call of Duty 4. And he's like, what's
Right.
it? Call of Duty? Yeah.
right. It just
4.
shows like how out of touch he is, and like how he wishes he wasn't. But like,
Like
you know,
it's so
like-
pathetic. That scene like is honestly one of the saddest scenes in the whole movie
Yes.
for me.
Yeah, it's
Because like
hard.
he leans out and he just wants someone to hang out with, and he says to the kid like, "Hey, you want to play Nintendo?" Like that's such like an old man thing to say, and like the kid obviously is just doing it to be nice,
Yeah.
and he's not being disrespectful. The kid is being so nice, like,
Yeah.
and he's like just telling him about his interest, how he's like, "Oh, they got Call of Duty now," and then he's like, "Oh, come on, man, you want to do a rematch?" The kid's like, "No, that's okay."
yeah,
Like
Yeah.
it's just like really shows how like he just is a lonely guy. He his backstory, he has a daughter that he hasn't been in her life very
Yeah.
much.
God,
and he like
the-
tries
the
to
whole-
rekindle that, and he starts to get a little successful with it, and then he fucks up, and it's like so depressing.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah,
That-
it's just sadder and sadder every fucking interaction because, like, okay, so there's that one scene where they finally reconnect. He's starting to like fix everything, and then he just fucking kills it. He just bombs the whole thing.
Does what? So what happened there? Did he just straight up just not remember that they had a date?
So no. He okay.
He,
So then when
that
they're
was
walking
right
through the
after-
pier, he sets up that it's just like, hey, look, when's a good time for you? You know, like I want to get dinner, and she's like, Saturday. I could do Saturday. He's like, perfect, I'll be there. And then he goes to try and like thank his friend who's the stripper that he's
And it
trying
just-
to like.
It doesn't
he's
go
trying
well.
to connect with her. Yeah. It goes terribly, and then he ends up, like fucking up, like drinking and shit.
Right. So
and
it's
then
like I think it's just showing
blacks out
like
through it.
how much of a deadbeat he kind of is. Like,
Yeah,
but-
it's he just instead of hanging out with his daughter, who he
he forgot
desperately
because of
tried
how,
to hang out with, to like connect
because
with.
like, and this is like again kind of the issue I have with it, and kind of what makes it more interesting is like
Yeah,
he is not really a good person at all,
no, it's really not.
and like he doesn't really even learn anything. You know, like he's a very
No.
tragic character.
Yeah,
So him not going there, if you remember exactly what happened was he went to that local wrestling show, not as a wrestler, just to
Yeah.
like look at it, and everyone there loves him, and then he goes to that bar afterwards and he hooks up with that lady. Do you think that like part of his reason for forgetting was just like CTE?
I
Like
mean,
he's
he
just
was
so out of it?
No,
so
I
like
think
in
he's-
No,
the
I
scene,
think he
he
was
was
just
drinking
spiraled.
tequila, he was doing blow, like
I think he's
he
just a
partied all
loser.
night. Yeah,
But like, do you think he like
I think
okay,
he's just an addict.
Yes, no,
Oh,
he
yeah.
is an addict for sure. But
Yeah,
I'm saying,
straight
do
up.
you think he actively chose not to go to the date, or do you think
No,
he just forgot?
I think he forgot because
yes.
he's an idiot.
I
He
think he got
100%
blackout
forgot.
drunk and forgot.
Because
Yeah,
then
like,
it seemed
because-
like he slept through
because-
the entire day and
Yes.
then woke up when he was already late for dinner.
And
Yep.
so like
He woke up like in the middle of the night.
he is like very selfish. You know what I mean? Like I think that's just to show like even though he is trying to get better, deep down he's just a very very selfish person
Yeah, I mean, it's I don't think well, okay,
and
yeah, it's-
egotistical because
he's
the only thing
selfish
that
and
No,
brings
I
him
don't think
joy.
he's
egotistical, but it's-
egotistical. I think he's just
I-
broken, and you can't just all of a sudden decide you're fixed.
Yeah, and that's
I
that's-
agree with that,
That's
but-
the thing. I feel like
but
these are
he-
just like decaying parts of like his old character that are kind
No,
of like
exactly.
still hanging on.
Egotistical in the sense of like the only thing because of his past or whatever and how he still yearns for that.
Yeah.
Egotistical in the sense that he like the only thing that will bring him joy is people loving him.
I think it has something. I think it's less egotistical in that way. I think it's just that the only way that he knows how to get any sort of happiness is doing
Right.
that.
And wouldn't that be egotistical?
I don't know
No,
if
'cause
that's
I think
like.
there's
I think it's
Is it-
like an addiction issue,
Yeah, is it like that's the only way he knows out?
like a
yeah, like that.
dopamine
The way
issue.
the way you're phrasing it makes it sound more cold and malicious.
No, not
Yeah.
malicious. Not malicious. That like he is incapable of thinking about other people above himself.
I don't think he's.
But I don't think it's out of
incapable,
an
it's just.
But it's
egotistical.
no. I don't think it's out of. Well, maybe
I
I'm
think
using
it's
the
I
word
think it's
differently
just
than you guys
normally
would.
against his character. Like the ego does play a lot because he did used to be this huge star, and now he's essentially a nobody.
Egotistical in the sense that like because of all of this, he can't think of anyone but himself successfully.
Yeah, kinda.
Not in like a malicious way. He's like fucked up. Like he
No,
has a
I
lot
would-
of
I would
issues
not
and a
say
lot
it's
of trauma.
malicious.
Well, I don't
I
think
feel
he was
like-
thinking of himself during that though.
No, I feel like this is just
Who is he thinking about?
how he copes.
Nothing.
Yeah,
Like,
this was like I'm trying to get rid of the pain, and I'm just gonna do what I do normally:
I
a
see
bunch
what
of
you're
blow and
saying.
drink and fuck.
Like he
'Cause-
wasn't thinking like this is gonna make me feel better. He was thinking I got to get this shit out of my head.
Oh my god! By the way, the scene where he wakes up in the fireman's boots and shit, and then like on the fireman bed with the fireman posters, that was a little creepy.
Oh yeah.
It's-
I'm trying to like think how I want to word this because like not egotistical and like a
Me like the
narcissistic
spaghetti.
way. Shut up. In like a narcissistic way, but in like a he's so fucked up and so addicted to all of these different things and fame especially that like he is almost incapable of putting other people above himself.
oh,
Due
so
to
it's
all
kind
of
of like
that.
a lockstep. He can't like step down off his throne. He can only go up.
I think he probably was extremely egotistical and self-driven
Yes.
when he was more with it, and now that
Yes.
he's not with it as much and he's just a broken shell of what he was,
Yes.
it's really all he knows anymore.
Yes.
I don't think
That's
I
what-
think
that's
at
what I'm
one
trying to
point
say.
I think at one point it was probably like a form of selfishness, but
Yes.
now I think it's just like a habit, like an addiction
Yes.
to what it was.
Yeah,
Yes.
and that's what I was kind of getting at. This is like the remnants of his old character kind of like flaking off and hanging on.
I really love the scene when he goes to that indie show and it's all the guys backstage planning out their matches
Yeah,
together.
it's really
Yeah.
good.
I found that extremely fascinating. Tommy Rotten, like the Anarchy guy he gets paired up with, I think their like back and forth is
It's
very
good.
wholesome.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's kind of just like, yeah, I'm showing the kid how to do the moves, and then they get back off stage after the fight, and he's like, oh man, you did great out there. Yeah, that
Wait,
was
the blue
phenomenal,
meanie
man."
was in this?
Can I?
The blue meanie?
Do you
Yeah.
guys think he just yes or no? Because I know it's more complicated than this. Do you think he is a good or a bad person?
Oh, fuck.
I think he was a bad person who
And
now has to live with the consequences of those bad actions.
Yes. Yes, that's a great way to put that.
Is that
It's-
fair?
yes,
He's not like actively bad. He's just.
But I mean, he
it's
is
just all I
actively
know.
bad. In some
Well,
ways.
I mean,
I think
he
he
is, but
was.
it's more just all I know. This is all I
Yes,
know, so this is all I
but
do.
like he, like a lot of that, like he is his fault. Like you know what I mean? Like
But I guess actively bad would be like I'm like pushing the lifestyle harder, not just riding out the wave.
But I also think a lot of it has to do with the industry that he was in.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
but
encourages
that's
that.
what makes it more interesting than a lot of Aronofsky's other movies is that it's actually like a nuanced thing he's talking about in a good way, and like how like I'm not going to spoil this movie too much, but it kind of reminds me of The Substance in some ways, like the messaging behind it, not in style or anything, but in the like idea of people are so addicted to what they were that they'll do anything to get that back.
Yeah,
And
they really will.
that's what I think is such a good take on it compared to some of the other things, is that that's a very relatable thing, is like not wanting to lose like the best you've been, you know what I mean, or the best you feel like you've been.
Yeah, you kind of want to still be like the old
And-
fighting dog and stuff.
Right, and like still doing harmful things to yourself to even try and get that feeling back, even if you know it's bad.
Yeah,
Because I mean, like,
God.
to the people who've seen The Substance, like that's what The Substance is about, like surface level. You know what I mean? Like
Carving
celebrities
parts of
who
yourself
can't
to get to where you were.
right, and like cutting people out in order to get that, or ruining relationships in order to get that, because you are so addicted to that feeling. You know what I mean?
Yes, I agree. I
This movie
think
just hurts.
that aspect of his personality is inconsiderate of others.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's hard to call him straight up selfish.
I agree.
Yeah, and I think that's why I'm saying he's not like actively evil. He's kind of just coasting with the lifestyle he had.
But he did awful things. I don't know for sure, but he was awful to his daughter. Like
Oh yeah, no, I mean like she's freaking out.
like
I mean,
stuff like that isn't like forgivable. You know what I mean? Like from people's perspective, like to his daughter, he's always going to be an awful person and an awful dad.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. And like I'm not saying that like what he has gone through and he is going through makes up for what he did.
Exactly.
Because I do think that he did some really unforgivable things to the people around him and to his daughter especially.
yeah.
But
and yeah.
I do think that he is doing what he thinks is an effort to be a better person.
But getting to the ending of the movie, he's unsuccessful.
Yeah,
Yes.
because he just like falls back into his old routines, which kicks off like this down spiral of
Which
character.
that's like it almost gets to the point where it's like, is the theme of the movie that we can't really change? Like,
Well, do you think so? For the ending, right? He feels happy because
hold on,
Marissa Tomei.
So to explain the ending real quick, he fucks up a ton of relationships in his life, and then he goes to this. He has a heart attack, and he's told he can't ever wrestle again. But he goes to wrestle anyway, and he gives this big speech about how like
I'm back. They tried
Right,
to
I'm
tell me I
back.
couldn't,
This
and
is
I'm
the-
back.
right, and this is the only place I've ever been happy. You fans are the only thing that make me happy, and it's like very depressing knowing what we know. But then there's like this kind of dreamlike thing where it implies that he dies of a heart attack.
I think he definitely dies.
Oh no, yeah, but it's not
Oh, yeah.
explicit. That's what I mean by
No,
it.
Yeah.
no, he
But-
straight up has a heart attack. Yeah.
Like he starts having chest problems. The other wrestler tries to end it. He doesn't end it. Then he does his ram jam and dies.
Then it cuts
pretty
to
much.
black.
Right. And that, like, to me, like, is it saying, like, we can't change? Like, we're a slave to our, like, addictions and our things, our, vices? Maybe. I don't know. But that's where, like, it becomes a little less nuanced for me is the ending.
Well, so for the ending, he's happy that she shows up. He's happy that Marissa Tomei shows up. But he's
Yeah.
like, it's too late. I'm going out there.
And then, like, by the time she gets there, I mean, that even adds to it. It's just like, oh, he's already out in the ring. He's already back into what he was doing.
Yeah.
He can't change.
But I don't think I'm wrong with the sequence here. The Ayatollah tells him, let's bring it home. Which is, hey, let's end
Let's
this.
end it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he looks back at the door and sees that she's gone.
I think
And then
you're
he's
right.
like, no, we're doing the last part. Do you think he would have just let it go home if she was still there?
I think he would have done it anyway.
I think in his like fucked up head, he would have seen that as like, oh, she's supporting me, so I'm gonna go all in.
I think.
Okay, this is a really big question about this, and this is part of the nuance here. Do you think he was actively choosing to die?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. It
because-
was definitely suicidal.
Oh yeah, that was definitely. This is the only thing that I know in my life, and I can't do anything else. Like I
No,
had
like,
a job and I
he-
fucked
yeah.
it up.
Yeah,
I can't live in that world anymore. I can
Mhm.
only live in this
If,
ring.
right,
And
he's
if
like if I can't wrestle, I want to be dead.
Yeah, exactly.
And so Michael, you think that is losing some nuance, him making that decision?
Maybe it just because then I don't know, and I know this is weird coming from me for people who know me. Like I just get annoyed when the whole point of stories or movies is like everything sucks. Like it's very cynical and nihilistic, and it just feels like lame to me and a cop out.
I mean, you could do it in a good way, but
Yes, you
normally
can,
when
and there are
people do
movies
it,
that do it in a good way. But it
but
just
normally
feels,
you are right. It is kind of the cop out.
it's just like okay,
I like, and this is kind of a fucked up, like, dark interpretation of this. But in a way, do you think that this is a happy ending for Randy? Not for us, because obviously it's tragedy for us. But for him, do you think he is happy that he's going out on his own terms?
Yes.
grading on a curve, yes.
but but it's
Wait.
not it's not a happy ending for him. It's like the only ending that he would allow himself.
Yeah,
Well, that's
it's
the
kind of
happiest
whole-
ending he could get.
Yeah,
kind of the whole Warriors
because of
death
how
thing.
fucked up the fucked up things he's done. That's I like how you worded that, Alan. Like this is the best he's gonna get.
Well, because the
Yes.
other thing is that his times in the ring are fading. Like he's not getting paid the same amount. He can't keep this up anymore because no one cares about him anymore. And this
again, he
this
fucked up his
specific
job.
reunion match is like the last big thing he can really hold on to. And I
Yes.
think he knows that there is no more big match for him. Like this is it. No one cares about him
Yeah.
anymore. He's gone.
And
And I think I think this whole movie is more of when he has the heart attack, it's the first time he really sees because I think a big thing with like performers like that is that they will pour out everything into their
Yes.
life in front of the curtain, but their life behind the curtain is still a nightmare. And then when the
Yes.
doctor says you only have that behind the curtain life left, he goes
They're
around
not,
and
yeah.
tries to pick up the pieces,
but he
sees
can't.
that he can't, and he goes, then there's no more life left to live.
Right, yes, which I agree, and that's where I think this movie is better than other Aronofsky movies because there is more to be discussed with it. But I do think it is kind of a cop out answer still.
I also think it's a very real ending in life for a lot of people, and that's why it gets. That's
Yes,
why I think
that's why it's
deserves.
better. That's why it's better.
And like the extremes that he's having to go to like get that high, like that death match he has.
Oh my god!
Right
It was
before he has
difficult
the heart
to watch,
attack.
dude. It was
Yeah,
difficult to
god
watch.
damn, dude.
That is
That's
rough.
bloody.
Like
I called Eli after that and I asked if those were real, and he was like, "Oh yeah."
absolutely they're real. Like
It
that
makes me uncomfortable that and Eli explained it a little bit better to me that it is safe, but it makes me uncomfortable that people like watching that genuinely.
Yeah, they're attacking each other with barbed wired fucking bats and shit. He unwraps the razor blade on his wrist and fucking
Yeah.
slices his forehead open.
like
and just,
well
wipes
that's
it
like
on
that's
his
just a
face.
normal thing. Like those gigs,
That's-
like wrestlers
that's
do
what
that all the
happens.
time.
Oh no doubt, yeah, but just
oh,
to
that
kind of
part's
watch
normal.
it. Well,
No,
to
that
watch
part-
I
it
think
that close
that shows
up.
how fucked
No,
up
I
it
know
is
you-
that we're
yeah.
no, actually the razor
Like the
blade
gig
part's
thing
normal.
where he cuts his forehead open, that happens
that
in
happens
like regular
every fucking
matches.
match. Yeah.
But the
Well,
death match,
No, I get that, but I guess I'm getting more at how kind of close detail they paid attention to it.
Yes.
Where it's just this dude is clearly fucking destroying himself for others' entertainment.
and I do want to say and I do not want to say that the death matches are safe ever, but there are wrestlers who do this for a living.
Yes. Which
And
is what
they-
the guy in that is.
Yeah, Necro Butcher. I've made the reference a few times, but that person, also by the way, certified genius.
Yeah.
He
Really?
actually he's got several doctorates. He's got extremely high IQ. His real name is
Wow.
Dylan Keith Summers. Like a
Oh,
fascinating.
I'm sorry,
person.
guys. I gotta take a dump.
Oh, okay, dump it out. But
Kinda
Necro
going to
Butcher
the
is like a
bathroom a
real
lot.
person, but he really would do these insane death matches that no one else should be doing, and he just happened to find his niche. And there are some people who can do that safely, quote unquote.
I guess it's
safely.
not about the safeness of it. It just like it makes me uncomfortable that like it feels very barbaric that there's like people in the stands who are like, yeah, fucking staple him with a fucking staple gun in the eye. It's like, oh my god, okay, relax. Like,
So that was actually kind of one thing that was that I sort of half knew about the whole stapler thing, because actually getting a hit with the little staple is not that bad.
It's taking it out that sucks.
Yeah, it's taking it out that sucks, but getting hit with it's actually not that bad.
And he, I think he even says that. Like, what's really smart about that deathmatch sequence is they don't show much of it.
No, yeah, they showed just enough.
You see,
they showed like the end
and after,
and they do it in like flashback. Like you see the ending first, and then it cuts.
And like, there's like a lot of like good bits. Necro Butcher does his own stunts where he staples the dollar to his forehead.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he staples it just above his eye, and it's all ripped off and shit.
It's but that's the like that is like the perfect choice, because like Randy the Ram has like it doesn't seem like he's ever done a death match before.
No, yeah.
And this is the extreme that he's going to. Someone who's never done this before, obviously is not experienced. He's not doing this, like his body is not up to this, and he has a heart attack.
And he doesn't know how to do it. Like,
no,
like,
this was out of like necessity because he was in the hole and he had to like get all this extra shit just to pay rent and stuff.
Like, it is implied that this is what he has to resort to.
Yeah.
This is a random criticism of the movie, by the way. I really disliked how this movie was edited.
What do you mean?
It was so, like, things would just, like, happen out of nowhere. Like, it would just cut to, like, something happening. I'm like, oh, okay, there's no setup to this. It just felt very, like, rushed and, like, I don't know.
So there's, like, a lot of, and then this happens, and then this happens,
I guess so,
happens.
but, like, speaking, like, specifically the deathmatch sequence, I think the editing does that a lot of favors.
Oh, no, no. I know. I'm not talking about that. I'm just thinking, like, that is one of my favorite sequences in the movie. I just, like, it just cuts to, like, scenes without setup, and it just feels kind of lame.
So, like, when he, like, finally decides to, like, retire, quote-unquote, and he asks his manager at the grocery store for more hours, and he gets the deli job, he's genuinely good at it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, like, he's, like,
he starts
making
off
jokes
great
with people, and, like...
He does, like, the whole football throw. It's like, duh, it's the final. Go deep. And he, like, he throws it and gets it in a little basket.
Like, he's funny. He's likable. Like,
yeah.
Mickey Rourke, his performance in this is really well done because...
he carries the movie.
Like, genuinely, it wouldn't work without him because he is very likable. At like, when people just meet him, he talks them up. Like, they like him genuinely. But he just fucks up.
A lot.
So much. Like, and so we didn't even really get into, he's got this relationship, who also is an interesting parallel story. Marissa Tomei, the aging stripper.
Yes. But she's, like, a foil to him because she doesn't fuck up. Like,
no, she's being responsible. She's being a good mom.
Yes, and like is like getting shit done and like doesn't make bad decisions and like
and like obviously she's not going to be able to stay a stripper for much longer than this.
No, yeah,
like that is like very obvious. Like people make jokes about her body and it's fucked up.
Yeah,
like. Her only real clientele are people like Randy, like these old guys.
Yeah.
But like, she's got the whole plan to get out and stuff.
Like, there's, like, obviously she's going to figure that out. But she is not fucking up. She is, like, a very good parallel to his story.
Yes, that's a good way to put that. It's a solid parallel to, like...
I literally said that.
Two people that are going through the same thing.
I said that first.
Nice job, Eli. Good one.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you, Dave.
Right. I'm not.
That's like college education going to work.
I'm the only. All
right. I really like. Another like thing that makes this movie work better than some of the worst Aronofsky movies, like let's say The Whale, is stuff like that.
Yes.
Where there is reasons for characters existing and being who they are.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's that really bummer of a scene where he goes to that like signing event and he sets up his little table.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like really pathetic. And there's like no one there. And he's posing for pictures with people. And it's a bummer. So talking about how realistic this movie is.
Yeah.
I obviously like wrestling. I'm a very big fan of wrestling. I've been to a few like comic conventions where there's wrestlers there. It is very similar to that. They just sit at their little booth and it's like, man, like it looks kind of pathetic. Like and not like I'm not like talking shit on the wrestlers. It's just it bums you out to see like what they have to do now to like make money. And I'm not even disrespecting that. Like good for them to make that money, but they really do. There's no exit plan in wrestling.
No. Yeah.
No, it's kind of just like
And
fight
they get,
till
like,
you break
don't they
down
get, like,
and then figure it
shitty,
out.
Like health insurance and shit after.
Oh yeah, no, there's no health insurance after they leave.
No.
Like they're not even like in WWE. They're not even full paid like employees. They're considered gig workers.
Oh God.
So they don't have to give them health insurance.
Fuck. God
There's
damn,
no
dude.
like 401k for wrestlers. Like it's just like the wrestler Roddy Piper, R.I.P. He said that he saw this movie and he bawled his eyes out for days. He was inconsolable.
For days? Fuck, dude.
He could not get over it because he like related to it so hard. And
again, that just shows like how real it is. It's such like a deep cut into the life.
But then it makes it even weirder that because of how stupid and fucked up Vince McMahon is, he tried to use this movie to market himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he tried to get Mickey Rourke to wrestle a match in character at WrestleMania 25. And that didn't happen.
What?
Like, Mickey Rourke was at WrestleMania 25, but he himself said that if he showed up in character, it would be disrespectful.
Yeah.
And I agree. Like, I'm glad that didn't happen. Like, that would be stupid. It's just, like, I can't believe... And the movie obviously never, ever name drops, like, WWE, WWF. Like, it never says that, like, outright. But it definitely is, like, about that.
Oh, yeah.
Like, this is such a, like, a thing. Like, there have been so many wrestlers that are just chewed up and spit out that there's a whole movie about it. And it's, like, extremely, like, a bummer. Like, this is not a unique story. And that's what's really fucked up about it.
Yeah.
Like, we talked about, like, in the Nacho Libre episode, Silver King, the guy who plays Ramses, he was wrestling still when he was almost 60 years old and had a heart attack in the ring and died in front of an audience.
Yeah.
Like, this is not unheard of. This is not an unprecedented story.
And then, I brought this up to you guys earlier, but, like, fucking, I watched The Wrestler first and then Nacho Libre second to try and do, like, a whole palate cleanse thing. And, like, it barely worked. Like, I was kind of, like, laughing and stuff through, like, half of Nacho Libre. And then my mind just shifted back to The Wrestler, and I just got really fucking depressed.
It's a bummer. Like, it's
a bummer,
fun.
dude.
That final sequence, the final match between him and the Ayatollah, the rematch, was filmed at a real Ring of Honor event, which is like a wrestling promotion.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
And at first, when Randy was giving his little speech like that, the audience thought that he was supposed to be the heel and was booing him. And fucking Darren Aronofsky had to come out and like, guys, like, this is the good guy. Please cheer him. And they're like, oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, all right.
So then they basically were like, oh, we have to go by 80s rules. He's the good guy and he's the bad guy. Okay, we got this. So then they like did a redo and that was the take they like used. But it's just, I found that like tidbit very funny. That they saw, like, after even, like, the wrestling crowd heard his little speech, and they're like, "This is the bad guy. This is a bad guy right here."
Because he is.
It's just a rough movie overall. It's great, but it's rough.
It's I don't know. It's a good movie. I know Alan's in the bathroom, but we should wrap up. So I'm sorry Alan is a little poopy. But do you recommend The Wrestler?
Yeah, 7.5 to 8 out of 10.
I would, yeah.
I recommend it. I really I do, but also this is not a fun movie.
No.
Should I announce next month's movies?
Yes, that's
actually,
where I
it's
wanted
your
to
month,
go.
right?
February is Michael's month, so you go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, so what do we got?
So I have a theme.
Copycat.
Of I don't know if anyone knows this about me. I am a huge detective head. And that's not even a lie. Detective movies are some of my favorite things. I love Columbo.
Big
for
Columbo
Christmas.
fan.
I am. For
Columbo
Christmas,
rocks.
I'm not. Listen, for Christmas, I got the Columbo Blu-ray collection.
I'm jealous.
Damn.
So, I'm going with two detective movies that are similar to each other. The first one is called The Kid Detective. And the second one is called Mystery Team. I will read the descriptions for both. The Kid Detective, starring Adam Brody, directed by Evan Morgan. Once a celebrated kid detective, now 31, continues to solve the same trivial mysteries between hangovers and bouts of self-pity, until a naive client brings him his first adult case to find who brutally murdered her boyfriend. And then Mystery Team is a movie that Eli knows.
I love it.
That was made by what was their name, Eli? The YouTube channel.
Derek.
Derek Comedy, who, as you guys may know, Donald Glover was in Childish Gambino. It's called Mystery Team, directed by Dan Ekman. And it is called A Group of Former Encyclopedia Brown style child detectives struggle to solve an adult mystery. So they are very similar movies in concept, but they are done very differently. Both are comedies. One is a little goofier of a comedy than the other. Go ahead.
I'm excited.
I'm excited. Yeah, I like little detective movies. They're fun.
They're both very good. I will say that from the bottom of my heart. I love both of these movies. The Kid Detective I watch once every 6 months, probably. Mystery Team is so goofy that it's amazing. But
what years did these come out so people can find them easier?
Kid Detective was 2020. It is not on anything, but you can rent it. And then Mystery Team is, or you can illegally stream it. That was a joke. Or you could illegally stream it.
In Minecraft.
In Minecraft.
Yeah.
Mystery Team came out in 2009, and it is streaming on Prime.
Nice. Okay. I'm excited.
So, we will see everyone in February.
See ya.
Oh, wait. Hey, real quick. I did get a text from Alan. It's kind of just a lot of spaces and letters. I think we should probably look into that.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he's having his time. He's pooping. What a pooper.
I don't know. I mean, he disappeared once. I'm worried.
Nah, if there's one thing I know about my boy Alan is that he poops.
He's a shit.
Yeah, he do be shitting.
He's a true shitter.
You know what? I'm back. Alan's just shitting. He do be shitting.
So, okay, before we wrap up, I saw this beautiful map of Europe where every country was labeled by the average amount of times they shit in a week. And Italy was the most by far.
Oh my god.
He do be shitting.
I think Italy was 55.
God.
in a week. Like, what the fuck are y'all doing over there?
I shit 3 times a day on average. So that's 21.
That,
3?
Yeah.
like twice max for me. I like. And it's never been an issue. You know what was also fucked up though? I think Ireland was like 3 times a week was their average.
They're constipated as fuck.
But anyway, we will be back with Alan.
Hopefully. And we will see you guys next month. Goodbye.
Bye bye.
Yeah, we'll see you.
All right, all you turtos and turtettes. That's the show. Have yourself a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.